Well, we are seeing Muslim communities across North America standing up against gender ideology and LGBTQ curriculum in public schools. It's been happening here in America for a while, and Canadian Muslims are now following suit. Just last week, Canada's Liberal Prime Minister Justin Trudeau addressed a group of Muslim Canadians who protested against gender ideology in schools, and he blamed their opposition on, quote, the American right wing. Watch.
First of all, there is an awful lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. People on social media, particularly fueled by the American right wing, are spreading a lot of untruths about what's actually in the provincial curriculum. If you look at the various curriculums, you'll see that there is not what is being said out there about aggressive teaching or conversion of kids to being LGBT. That is something that is being weaponized by people who are not doing it because of their interest in supporting the Muslim community. These are people on the far right who have consistently stood against Muslim rights in the Muslim community.
Ooh, Tommy, that was a lecture.
How insulting, not only to the Muslim faith, but to faith in general. Anybody who has faith in something beyond themselves, anybody who holds a religion near and dear to their heart, for him to sit there and say, hey, listen, it's the American right wing that's trying to convince you of your firmly held belief that you've had in your religion since the dawn of time, that it's the American right wing that's making you think that. Once again, the left, I don't care if it's the American left or the Canadian left, is trying to convince people how they feel and what they think, and that they are in fact victims, and they're not smart enough to think for themselves. They're actually being manipulated. I don't think that Canadian Muslims or American Muslims or Canadian Christians, American Christians, whatever religion, I don't think that they're going to fall for this. I think people are too firmly rooted in their faith and in their beliefs to fall for this. Jen Psaki tried it a couple weeks ago. It fell flat. But when you think about it, how insulting it is to people of faith. Yeah. I hope people are paying attention to that. This is what they think of your faith. They think that your faith is being manipulated by conservatives in another country.
Oh, and that you didn't choose it freely.
Right.
I mean, it's like, oh, well, you put the wrong dress on today. Let me talk you out of that.
Right.
It was such a pat on the head. Well, look, this isn't instantaneous. And here's one of the reasons why you can't blame it on anybody in America. The all-Muslim City Council of Hamtramck in Michigan voted unanimously to ban the display of pride flags. Remember that? On any city property. Here's a city councilman on that decision.
But here's the thing, folks. You guys are welcome to the community. You guys welcome to walk to the restaurants, walk to the grocery store. Why do we have to have a flag flown in this city property to be represented? You already represented. We're doing our best to support the community. Therefore, you are not unwelcome. You are welcome here. But we have to respect the religious. We have to respect the people that are around here. Schools, mosques, churches.
The Muslim faith, as Tommy just brilliantly laid it out, no matter where you live, if you hold faith, you can't talk people out of it. Look, this is part of who they are. They didn't catch it like a disease.
Yeah, this is where they push it too far, when they go out and attack families, attack kids, and when they go after people's religion. They weren't listening to some conservative in Utah who thinks that, this pushing too far. They can come up to these conclusions, as Tommy said, all by themselves. They're just pushing too far. They attack them, and that's why they don't get it. Justin Trudeau and those people left, they just don't get it. It is happening. And you know what? There are people all over the world who are just fed up with it. Leave our religion alone. Leave us alone in terms of our beliefs and the diversity of thought. And don't come after our kids and try to transition them.
See, and that's the thing. We say this all the time, Kaylee. You and I have talked about, look, love who you want. Do all of those things. But this is exactly what's happening on the right with gender, puberty, with all of that mixed in with, oh, and then you put in children.
Right, exactly. And this is why you see a coalition, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Christian. No one here is being compelled to do something by the right. As the National Deputy Director of CARE, the largest Muslim civil rights organization, said, she basically said the media needs to accept that Muslim parents are independent, intelligent people speaking for themselves. That's exactly right. But this is the demonization strategy. You had a council member in Montgomery County come out and say that they are aligning with white supremacists, that Muslims are. She then had to apologize for that statement. But where did we see this before? With the Tea Party. Nancy Nancy Pelosi, this is AstroTurf. Paul Krugman of the New York Times, this is AstroTurf. Well, that AstroTurf movement cost Nancy Pelosi her gavel. So be on the lookout. I think a coalition's forming here.
Cheryl.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's an easy, lazy target. Listening to Justin Trudeau, trying to blame maybe what is his failed policy, his failed messaging in his country on an American group of conservatives. It's just a lazy argument. I think that he needs to look in the mirror and look at what's happening in Canada and stop judging what's happening south of his border. Focus on the prize there, Justin.
Yeah, it also, to me, Tommy, just signifies that he's lost some control that he's trying to get back. And so he will go to those spaces where it seems like the woke folk would agree with him. We'll poke it at religion,
Right.
you know, poke at faith, poke at belief systems, that sort of thing.
Canada has become a different country during COVID and now post-COVID. A lot of their freedoms, certainly their freedom of speech, has been reined in. And Canadians are so polite and they don't want to offend anybody, so they haven't taken the bull by the horns, unlike the Freedom Truckers, who certainly did that, to try to get back what they lost during COVID. And I think Trudeau is realizing that maybe there's an awakening here, but beyond just what's happening in Canada, I think faith is going to be a big issue for Democrats and left-wingers all around the world in coming elections, and they're terrified, which is why you're seeing this strategy unfold now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't touch our kids. Don't touch our religion. I think that's a message. We'll see.